The Archangel Raphael, both in the book of Tobias and in other books which have not been retained as canonical by the Church, is still the Archangel of healing, one of the 7 angels who stand before the glory of God. Saint Raphael, God heals, doctor of God, watchman of marriage and family according to God's plan, book of Tobit. He accompanies us throughout our pilgrimage journey. Raphael, protector of doctors and carers of the family and of marriage. Raphael assists Tobias and Sarah in their fight against the demon. In the book of Tobias, Saint Raphael is sent by God to heal the old and very pious Tobit, exiled to Nineveh, blinded by the hot droppings of a swallow, and Sarah, his future daughter-in-law, whom a demon named Asmodeus, with God's permission, afflicted by killing the 7 men whom she had successively married on the very day of the wedding. Raphael, without being recognized as an archangel, accompanied the young son of Tobit from Nineveh to Media, where he was going to have him marry Sarah, Raguel's daughter. Raphael made Tobias extract the heart and the liver from a fish. The heart of this fish, which represents Christ, burning on coals by its smoke, made the demon flee, and the gall, applied to the eyes of the father, made him regain his sight. We can see, as did the medieval authors, in this smoke, like incense, which comes from the bowels of Christ, the good smell of his prayer, terrible to demons, and in this gall, the bitterness of penance, which allows the soul to see God. We can very legitimately ask St. Raphael to cure the evils of our body, but we must even more ask him to heal our souls, as the anointing of the sick can heal the body and heal the penitent soul. Very precisely, let us ask him to associate us, through our prayer, with the omnipotent prayer of the Son of God, so that he pushes us out of hell and its temptations and unites us, through our penance, to that of Christ in his life and in his passion. The only remedy for the worst evil that afflicts us, that of sin. Saint Raphael, who advised the young Tobias to marry Sarah, explains to him not to fear the fate of the 7 husbands. The devil has power over those who enter into marriage so as to banish God from their hearts and their minds, and who think only of their passion. He invites Tobias to live in the first 3 days of his marriage in continence. You will take this girl in the fear of the Lord and guided by the desire to have children, rather than by passion, so that you obtain the blessing of God by having children of the race of Abraham. The prayer of Sarah and Tobias during their marriage, inspired by Raphael, is exemplary of the prayer of spouses throughout marriage. May Raphael be thus the protector of each Christian union. As for Raguel's prayer, putting Sarah's right hand in Tobias's to give her in marriage, it evokes the nuptial blessing. May the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob be with you. Let he himself unite you and fulfill his blessing in you. Tobias and Sarah saw their children's children up to the 5th generation. For God himself unites the spouses, and it is Christ who has raised marriage to the rank of sacrament, who pronounces by their mouths as ministers of the sacrament their mutual consent, so that what he has thus united no one can separate, just as if the angelic guard of the fire of St. Raphael preserved and protected the holiness, the indissolubility of fruitfulness of each marriage. Is St. Raphael not par excellence the angel of the pilgrimage? For he led and protected the young Tobias from Nineveh to Assyria to Media, in other words, from Iraq to Iran, back and forth. So we see him in many pilgrim representations wearing a large hat and holding the long iron rod, the pilgrim's staff, surmounted by an apple, the pommel. That is, the apple forbidden, the forbidden fruit that is repaired by conversion the return to God that was signified by our walking the first stage of our pilgrimage yesterday. The angel of the Lord accompanies each pilgrim on this journey back to God. And he will accompany Tobias. He will accompany each pilgrim in the continuation of the march of spiritual combat, and the march of mission. Raphael learns to walk like the infantryman on the road to the combat of life. Raphael learns to walk like the apostle whose feet are one who announces the good news. How beautiful are the feet of those who announce peace, of those who announce good news. Saint Raphael is therefore considered to be the patron of all those who bring healing, doctors, pharmacists, caregivers. He also protects the family and marriage, as he is shown doing in the book of Tobias. How can we not think today about sin, about the transgressions of nature and the death of innocent people, that those who are responsible for health and life import into marriage and the family? For Christians who refused to do so, doctors and spouses, Saint Raphael is a powerful protector. We're the children of saints, said Tobias to his wife Sarah, and we cannot be united like pagans who do not know God. By his spiritual nature, man is close to angels, a little below them. His soul, which informs the body, is in a sense angelic in its simplicity. Precisely the prayer of Tobias and Sarah is intended both to keep them from temptations and to enable them to reach through contemplation him whom only pure hearts see. It is a veritable rite of exorcism that Saint Raphael teaches Tobias to burn the heart and liver of a fish, the smoke of which chases demons away. Also, Bede the Venerable invoked him as a shield, that armor that St. Paul asked us to put on, for it is not against adversaries of blood and fish that we have to fight, but against the principalities, against the powers, against the governors of this world of darkness. It is therefore necessary to put on the armor of God, with justice for breastplate, the zeal of the gospel for shoes, by having always in hand the shield of faith, thanks to which you will be able to extinguish all the fiery traits of the evil one. We are plunged into a terrifying struggle, on the outcome of which our eternal fate depends, but we do not fight it alone, since the grace of God is conceded to us in proportion to the perils, along with the help of the angels, our guardian angel, and of the archangels. Jean-Jacques Collier, the founder of the Compagnie de Saint-Sulpice, who had a great devotion to the angels, said that there are archangels that God gives as guardian angels to the bishops, because they need an extraordinary fortitude to resist and defend themselves against the attack of the enemies of Christ, who seek to destroy them, because by extinguishing the torch which they represent, they ruin the church. Saint Raphael, help the bishops of the church.